What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So Senator Bernie Sanders does it again. He is going to delay the infrastructure bill from happening. He's going to delay this vote that was expected to come on Tuesday simply because he is getting closer to an agreement with other Democrats to get other things included into this bill. Senator Bernie Sanders over the past few days has been saying he is not completely satisfied with this bill. There's a lot of progressive priorities that were not included, and he wants more. We know that progressives were seeing cut after cut after cut on all their priorities. However, Bernie Sanders says that we are going to get more included, and he was pushing for this. All weekend long, he's been on the phone, he's been doing interviews, he's been discussing things with other lawmakers to try to get a certain thing included. And what is that? It's prescription drug pricing. He wants to lower the prices of prescription drugs. Now, here's what I can tell you. Things were moving very quickly. Things were going in a certain direction this morning. Things were going in a way that we are going to see a vote on this bill on Tuesday. However, things are changing. What we know is that progressives said that they are going to vote on this $1.75 trillion infrastructure bill. However, they wanted to see a little bit more included into this bill. So that is what they've been doing all weekend. Right now, this bill is most likely going to be delayed because, according to reports, we are getting closer to reaching a deal on lowering prescription drug prices. Senator Bernie Sanders, he's been saying for years that prescription drug prices are should not be that high. They need to be cheaper. He said these are the highest prices in the world, and just today he said, and I quote, "It is outrageous that we continue to pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs." And let me ask you this. I've asked this before. I've asked this before probably about 6 months ago. I asked people, let me know how much you spend on prescriptions every single month. I remember one person said that they only have about $32 at the end of the month in disposable income because all the rest of their money is going pretty much to prescriptions. One person said they spend over $1,300 a month on prescription medications. That's insane. That's outrageous to me. Now I'm pretty healthy, I think. I don't take many medications, actually none. I take vitamins and that's about it. That is really it. So let me ask you, how much do you spend on medications every single month? And is this really eating into your overall income? Is this eating into your the amount of money that you're able to save or invest into the future? Because for most people, many Americans, for millions, it is. Prescription drugs take up a lot of their disposable income. President Biden, he initially had high hopes of including the prescription drug provision in his Build Back Better plan, but according to reports, and I thought this was very interesting, it indicates that in the midst of all the discussions on taxes, paid family leave, and climate change, that this just wasn't a priority that was pushed to the top. It was still important, but it wasn't pushed to the top. So now Senator Sanders says this is a must to be included into the next bill. One thing I can tell you is that we're getting close to getting this deal done, but things can still fall through, okay? So just because I say we're getting close, just because lawmakers say could potentially happen on Tuesday, just understand that things could still fall apart. And if they do, I promise I will bring you that update as soon as we know. Now, what we are actually hearing this afternoon is that this agreement on drug prices, this must be finalized. And this, again, it has to include the language as well. The language must be finalized before we can even take this to the House Rules Committee. Remember, if you watched the video that I did this morning, I said that if we see a deal done today, we see the overall agreement, the framework, everything done today, then it would be sent to the House committee tomorrow for markup, and then it would potentially be voted on Tuesday. But the expectation at this point is that this bill could be finalized sometime tomorrow, if not Tuesday, which would mean the next day it would be going to the House Rules Committee for markup. So if this comes out, let's say Tuesday, markup would be Wednesday, could go to the House for a vote as soon as Thursday. So we could still see this happen on Tuesday at the earliest, but just understand the expectation right now is it would most likely be sometime the end of next week or the weeks following. So just understand things aren't coming to an end just yet, but they're getting close. So this is actually good news. Now, not only is the prescription drug pricing or policy slowing things down, there's also another bill that's slowing things down as well. Right now, the paid family medical leave provision is starting to have a comeback. Many people have said, and a lot of the representatives in the House, mainly the Democrats or the women in the House, they've been saying this negatively impacts women the most, and they're correct. According to recent reports, lower income households and women are the ones most impacted by the paid family medical leave cut. When this was cut, it impacted low income families and it impacted women the most. Studies show that lower income households tend to not have the jobs that come with benefits that provide them with paid time off. They say 25% of U.S. workers don't have a single paid sick day. 1 out of every 5 food service employees, they actually don't have a paid sick day either, but yet they have said they come into work because they can't afford to miss a day or potentially be fired. So that is very interesting. 1 out of every 5 food service employee has said they've come into work sick in order to prevent being fired or they can't afford to lose a day of work. Lawmakers state that providing paid family medical leave would actually provide these individuals with peace of mind that they would not be fired. They have a day that they can take off. They do not have to worry about not being paid because, well, that's included. They have up to 4 weeks. So that could be big. Some say this would actually prevent COVID from spreading here in the United States if we make sure that every single person has paid sick leave, that they don't have to come into work if they are worried that they may have COVID, if they may have a flu or a cough. When people come into work, to a workplace, especially an enclosed work environment, say an office building or a restaurant, the problem is many people can get sick. And if many people get sick and a lot of the workforce has to go home, this could actually impact our economy. So experts say this is something we greatly need here in the United States. And we are just 1 out of 2 countries in the world, as far as the developing nations, that do not have paid sick leave. So that's something that we say, a lot of lawmakers say we have to include into this next bill. But as of right now, President Biden made it seem like that's kind of expendable at this time. One thing I can tell you, when it comes to other things that are expendable, right now, many lawmakers are saying that we need to provide more for the American people. But at the same time, we cannot give into, or we cannot go and demand additional stimulus in every single capacity. So stimulus checks, more for the child tax credit payments, more for people on Social Security, more food assistance and things like that. The reason why they say this is because even though, we're not expendable as an individual or as a American citizen, right? The problem is there's other provisions in this bill that can't be expendable either. So the way they look at it is, okay, if a stimulus check or some form of stimulus is included into this bill, what else in the bill is going to be cut? What else has to be excluded? And if that's, seniors, if that's low-income families, if that's childcare, right? If it's, affordable housing, if all those things are being cut to provide for those that need an additional stimulus check or, nutrition assistance or something like that, they got to weigh it. Is which one has a higher priority? Is it stimulus checks or is it the other provisions? And then they have to figure out which one is going to provide the greatest impact. Would it be affordable housing, nutrition assistance, child care, right? Would all that stuff would be a greater impact to our economy and to the American people than a one-time stimulus check? And the answer that they've come up with is yes. So the reason why stimulus checks are not included, the reason why there's not a lot more as far as direct payments to the American people is because experts are currently telling us that right now, it doesn't actually give us a greater benefit and there's not a higher payout there as opposed to with the other provisions. So again, I'm just trying to report what we are seeing right now, what we're hearing. But the problem is, and I understand this, a lot of people are very upset that I'm not telling them the news that they want to hear. Okay, I completely understand that. But here's the problem. If I just gave you the news that you wanted to hear, chances are it's not going to be for everybody. But people still want to know about the child tax credit payments. They still want to know about Social Security. Yes, they still want to know about stimulus checks. The problem right now is lawmakers are putting a priority on families, children, parents. Those are the three, okay? So if you don't fall within one of those categories, first off, I'm sorry. I wish I could give you better news every single day. The problem is lawmakers are not giving us the greatest news at this time. But here's some other news that I want to bring to your attention. And this is actually some pretty interesting news, but Philadelphia has now become the largest or the biggest city to ban minor traffic stops. The purpose behind this is to promote equity and to curb negative interactions with the police. What we are hearing is that experts say that right now blacks are far more likely to be pulled over due to a minor traffic stop. And some are saying it's actually impacting lower income communities as well, because lower income earners tend to not fix let's say a broken tail light. Maybe they have a broken window or windshield. They can't really see out of it that perfectly, but that could be a stop. That's a minor traffic stop, but that is something that many people are stopped for. Let me know if you've had any of these stops as well. Maybe you have window tint that is too dark. Maybe you bought a vehicle from somebody that already had window tint on it. You didn't know, but it's too dark. And I think in Pennsylvania, I think you have to have like a 70% of the light has to be able to pass through or something like that. I know here in Washington State, it's like 42%. So, there's different rules for every single state. You do an improper lane change, that's a minor traffic stop. You don't turn on your signal, a minor traffic stop. Maybe you just different things, right? Maybe you have a headlight that's out. Minor traffic stop. Rolling through a stop sign is a minor traffic stop. Rolling through, not completely flying through the stop sign and forgetting about it. Those things would be considered minor, but anything that's considered dangerous or deadly would be a little bit greater. So those things you can still be stopped for. For example, a DUI, right? Those, or hitting a car, any accident like that. Now, I'm just curious, have you experienced any of these? Have you been stopped for any of these things? Because if you actually were to fight some of these things or go to court, in most cases, the judge would throw these out. Something as simple as a broken taillight, well, fix it. Get a little fix-it ticket, fix your light, you're good to go, right? And so this, I think, is very interesting that Philadelphia is now banning minor traffic stops. But let me know, what are your thoughts on this? Do you wish your city does this exact same thing? Let me know down in the comment section below. Also, according to many economists, COVID has pushed thousands and thousands of Americans into early retirement. Let me know if you have any friends or family that have gone into retirement simply because, they just didn't have work. They were worried about contracting COVID, or maybe the job that they had, the business went under, and they don't want to go and find something else. Let me know. But right now, according to reports, there are several jobs still available. But many argue that some of these jobs are going to go away very soon as the savings dwindles down amongst Americans. Currently, Americans have more saved up than previous years, and experts worry that once supply chain issues go away, people will start spending. And let me just paint this picture for you. Right now, Americans have a lot of money saved up. Okay, if you do, great. If you don't, well, you're probably in the minority. Because right now they're saying the majority of Americans, I don't know where they're getting these facts, but the majority of Americans have more money saved up now than before the pandemic. Because a lot of people are worried about, hey, well, what happens if I lose my job? What happens if I contract COVID, right? And then with all the stimulus, it's kind of helped many people, kind of save up. Well, right now, more people have money saved up. And once the supply chain issues kind of dwindle down, right? We don't have those issues anymore. You can buy a new vehicle. You don't have to wait months. You can go on vacation. Don't have to worry about, whether or not you can go to these certain locations or not. You can buy furniture and it's not back ordered. You can go into any store and you can buy electronics or whatever you need, right? Right now, the issue is the American people have to decide, do they just buy whatever it is now and spend more money on it? Or do they get the exact item they want, save a little bit of money, but have to wait weeks or potentially months? Well, according to experts, they say that once the supply chain issues go away, people are going to start spending. And once spending begins, this is going to cause many people to go back to work because they realize they cannot support their lifestyle while living off of savings and their investments alone. And here's the other problem. If we see the stock market pull back, if we see savings, okay, if we see people start spending their savings somewhat wastefully, their investments drop, maybe they don't get a dividend like they were expecting, things like that, their payout for their mutual funds or retirement accounts are not as high as that they were anticipating. These things could contribute to people going back to work. And if they do, here's what some people are saying, that if the older generation goes back to work, this will cause the wage to actually go down. It will not go up, it will go down. Okay? One economist says, as people come back out of retirement, this will cause the younger generation to also lose out to people with more skills, more experience, with degrees. Right now, what we're seeing is many people, especially my generation and younger, they're not going to college as often because many people are saying that college is not needed. That college is just another way to figure out what you want to do with your life. But with more people going to work online, doing things like being self-employed, working for Uber, Lyft, things like that, DoorDash, it's not as important as it once was. So that's what we're hearing. But again, I thought this was very interesting that they are expecting more people to come out of retirement very soon. And when they do, the wage will actually go down and not up. So I thought this was very interesting, but let me know what your thoughts are on this down in the comment section below. But again, that is what we know as of right now. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. Again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Have an incredible week this week as well. If you enjoyed today's video, consider subscribing. Also, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys on the next one.